Good morning to those of you in North America. Good afternoon to those of you in Europe, and good late evening to those of you from India and further east. Well, I just finished my 8 days pilgrimage. So here I am, so delighted to be back to continue the practice of manifesting abundance. Welcome back. My soul is nourished from all the grace that I can receive from the pilgrimage. There's a lot of abundance that I feel within. So it's from that place of abundance that I'm holding space today for everyone. Welcome back. And like always, let's begin this evening also with a little bit of a recentering. So if you have any electronic devices that you don't need for this particular session, my invitation would be for you to put it on silence and put it away from your energy. Keep it away, really far away. That's always a good habit. And find yourself a comfortable position, a position where you can be relaxed for a while. Shoulders at ease, and close your eyes. And gently bring your attention to your body and start scanning your body. And as you scan your body, notice anywhere any discomforts or aches that you experience. Or any spots where you experience ease or lightness. And hold your attention upon those spots where you feel discomfort or ease. Don't do anything, simply observe. And with your attention upon that spot, inhale slowly and deeply, and exhale slow. And gently bring your attention to your breath and feel your breath as it flows in and flows out. And move your attention to your heart region and feel your heartbeats. And as you become one with your heartbeats, feel your heart open into the space, connecting all of us together in abundance. And as you stay in that connection, bring back into your awareness your abundance intentions. Which area of life would you like more abundance to manifest? Bring that intention back into your awareness. And as you remain in that connection, gently come back into this call, into this conversation. Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful. I much needed that. Lovely. Beautiful. Now, let's take a moment to breathe in some of the standards that we've set for this 49 days journey. Using our hearts, let's breathe into these standards and connect with these standards. And if there is any particular standard that you particularly resonate, then claim it, own it, and write it down in the chat box. Connection, yes. Freedom, I see. That resonates with me. Togetherness. Manan has connection. An has commitment. Being honest with myself. I like that one too. I'm deserving. Beautiful. Silvana has weaving, and Thomas, self development. Mary, balance, proud, joy, and play. Wow, wow. Peter and Delan, wellness. Beautiful. Ingrid, alignment. Wow, very inspirational. And my invitation to you is take that standard, not just through the next hour, hour and a quarter, but also beyond into your day. And with that prayer, let's look at the table of content for today. I was absent for last week, but I'm sure that you all had a great deep dive into the fifth law, the law of non locality. So let's take the first few minutes to debrief what we learned over the last 7 days on the fifth law. And after that, let's jump right into the sixth law, the law of dharma, and then do a very, very brief check-in on the practicalities. And with that, we can start the checkouts. So if we can go to the next slide, let's see. If you recollect, the fifth law says giving and receiving are non-local in time and space. And the debrief we have in triads, if I can invite you to go into your breakout room and just inquire with each other, hold space for each other to come to clarity on how you've been progressing with your intention and how you've been bringing alive the fifth law. So, Michael, if you would kindly get all of us into our breakout rooms, that would be very nice. Let's take 10 minutes, 10 minutes to return to our intention. And the intention is one of those 10 abundance areas of life where we seek abundance, and also explore a little bit how am I bringing alive the fifth law in our lives. So if you want to take those 12 minutes to deepen into these two questions. And let's wait for Michael. Welcome back. Thank you. Thank you for getting into that, the breakouts. And what would be great is if anybody here, if you'd like to join me on air to share a little bit on your check-ins from last week, how you've been faring with your intention and with the fifth law, just simply raise your digital hand, and then we can get you on the screen, and you can share a little bit. Alternately, if you're comfortable leaving your message in the chat box, please do share in the chat box. How are you progressing with your intent? And fifth law, please. Well, no remarks. I can only mean two things. One, everything is absolutely clear and perfect. Or two, nothing is making sense. Sometimes I have to admit, I fall in the latter category. So no surprises there. Uh, I can tell you this from the last 8 days. I was on a pilgrimage where I did 120 kilometers walking um, in 8 days. And if you have any recollection of the abundance wheel that I laid out during the first session, I where I am in my life today, I'm sitting with this completely undivided understanding, realization that for me, my well being and vitality is unequivocally, for me, my uh, current priority. And somehow coming to the realization that if I have the kind of vitality that children represent in life, then I have the inner resources to attract any kind of abundance in life. And I see here in the chat box from Silvana a remark, a bit of both. uh, I can imagine that. Anybody who has any remarks on the fifth law, the law of
I have actually one.
non-locality?
I actually have
Yes.
one question. Um, you, I always wonder about how that applies to other lifetimes, lifetimes in the future and lifetime in the past, and what we might glean from these, or what should we be aware of?
Hi, Thomas. A lovely, hearing
Hi.
your voice. Though I can't see you, now I can see you on the screen. You know, um, your voice is unmistakable for me. Having known you for so many years, if I hear your voice, I instantly recognize you. Lovely, lovely hearing from you, and great question, Thomas. Um, I have to tell you this, Thomas. I don't believe that there are past lives. I know there are past lives. And so it's not even a belief, it is an absolute knowingness. And there's so much research done more recently. A gentleman called Stevenson, I think from Canada, has also done extensive research. If you go on YouTube, you will see some great stories about people who've reincarnated and have recollected all the memories of their past lives, etc. And I've also, in my life in India, encountered many people who've been able to recollect past lives. And the point I want to make here, Thomas, to your question is, once you come to realize that there are past lives, and likely for most of us also future lives, we start to recognize that all these different lifetimes are just one continuum of life. Yes, in between, there's a little transition of state called death, the seventh rite of passage in every lifetime, death. But if you're willing to overlook that little transition, you look at this life as one continuum of a journey where all kinds of experiences, karma, is accumulated. And in the summation of all these lifetimes, if you look at that together, then the experiences that we have in any of those past lives do count in our current life. That means today, Thomas, you might be seeing yourself in a position, say, for example, as a lover or as a parent, giving more than receiving. However, it is very highly likely that in one of the past lives, you have actually received plenty for which you are giving today. Coming back to the first law of abundance, the law of exchange. The universe operates in giving and receiving. And that applies past lives or future lives. This act of giving and receiving in non-locality of time absolutely applies across lifetimes. Is there any other reflections
Makes
coming
sense.
up for you?
Yeah, well, maybe that one question, having myself immersed so much into past lives of mine, could tell stories for hours and hours. At some point, I wonder, should we try to learn more about these, or should we rather let go and just be in the here of now? So I see a little bit of a paradox here. I could look into these, gain so much wisdom by doing all these kinds of, well, moving back and doing all those meditations. But on the other hand, I see, well, I have to live my life right now. So I'm a little bit torn between those two sides.
Hmm. I hear you, Thomas. And having known you for so many years, somehow you don't surprise me. Your reflections have always been very, very deep, very, very deep.
Yeah.
You know, um, how I relate to what you share is yes, you know, we have the onus to live fully into the here and now. like children do. Yet, what adulthood does for us compared to childhood is give us the agency to visit our past for the sole purpose of healing, to embrace the lessons that the pain or the sufferings or the unhelpful experiences of the past bring to us. So, not so much to get preoccupied with the past, like many people I know around me do. No, simply because healing involves moving some of the past memories and the energy that is contained in some of the past traumas from the subconscious or the unconscious into the conscious and beyond. So, for that purpose, traveling in time to the past is helpful. That aside, yes, fully living into the moment is the act of abundance in the here and now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Thomas. Very, very profound reflections. If anybody has any other remarks on the fifth law or on the progression of your intention, you're welcome to share. Otherwise, we can right away dive into. I see that Ingrid has got her hand up. Please go ahead, Ingrid. If there is anything that you'd like to share, you're welcome to unmute yourself.
Okay. It kind of actually dovetails on what Thomas was just saying. In my understanding, in the alignment with the teachings that I most deeply follow is the Avatar course by Harry Palmer. And one of the ways that we are encouraged to approach things is that all things are happening right now, that we are the creators of time and space. And even though there may be our creation of a past life, and we do have our creation of a future life, all of those different things, those are accessible in the now because we are the ones creating them. And so in alignment with the non-locality of this week's um exploration, the who we really are, the definition of self as an individual, the definition of self as collective, the definition of self as greater than any of those constructs, that non-locality of giving and receiving of abundance is that also as I give things, there's a aspect of me that may be even showing up as a different person in a different time, in a different place, in a different dimension, even that is receiving what I am giving, even if I don't see the direct connect. If I increase my trust and my faith in this law of non-locality, in this recognition that this is a truth of existence, then I also am able to open myself up to trusting that I am receiving from whatever time, dimension, reality, existence is necessary in this now to be able to be that in that childlike sense of generating enthusiasm and joy and presence for right here, right now. And in avatar terms in the course, we talk about creating your own reality. So that's a part of a specific set of tools of creation exercises that would be a part of that, to be fully present. And then that aspect of giving, that's generating, is creation exercises. And then in section 3 is about discreating, about letting go, about releasing, about non-attachment, like all of those different things, about practices to become fully present and aware of that non-locality of and your oneness with that. So I don't know if it just dovetailed. It felt like it was connected with
Hmm.
what Thomas was saying about the past lives and future lives and current existence and what you're talking about for this chapter specifically. So thanks. I'm complete.
Thank you, Ingrid. Indeed, if you look, if you're able to transcend the notion of space, then naturally, like children do, we experience that non-duality. So what you shared is beautifully articulated. Uh, a space of non-duality where I am the giver and I'm the receiver. There's no other in that absolute transcendental sense. Beautiful. Thank you for that reminder, Ingrid. You're lovely. It seems like we are ingesting the law of non-locality in a very powerful way. Lovely. Thank you. This would be a great moment to also segue into the next law, the sixth law, which is again one of my favorite laws. For the last 20 years of my life, uh, all right, okay, yes, before we go into unpacking the sixth law, we have a little beautiful little reflection here for you. There are three questions for us to explore with a very innocent mind. So, without really knowing the sixth law of abundance yet, I invite you to take a few minutes, let's say, take 10 minutes max, and explore these three questions. And you know what I'm going to do? In a minute, I'm going to copy these questions and put them in the chat box so that while you're in the breakout room with two others, examine these three questions. And then when we come back, we will connect the dots for you and help understand the sixth law. The first question here is, to the extent you've done the reflections in your life, do you know or do you have a sense of what your purpose in life is, in this life form is? And number two, it's one thing to know what we feel our purpose in this lifetime is. It's another thing to live it. Are you living your purpose? And in case you're not fully living it, that means, you know, waking up every morning and following your heart to really live your purpose. Examine what's holding you back today. There could be a number of reasons holding you back, inner and outer reasons, physical and metaphysical reasons that might be holding you back from living your purpose or claiming your purpose fully. Kindly examine these three questions in your triad. Let's take 10 minutes, Michael, for all of us to gather in triads and examine these three questions. And when we come back, we can open up this space for you to share what's coming up for you. Let's create a safe space for each other. Michael, if you can just help us into our breakout rooms, that would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you. So, if there's anybody in this group who would like to share a little bit about what is it that you know about your purpose and to what extent you're living that purpose today, that would be very insightful for all of us. So, if you wish to raise your digital hand, you're welcome to. Or if you want to share anything in the chat box, please do so. I'm curious to hear to what extent you're living your purpose, and if you're not fully living your purpose, then what's holding you back from living your purpose? Peter and Delan, please
I'm going. I said.
Amazing.
unmute
Oh my
yourself.
goodness. You totally picked us up here. 'Cause he was
I
just-
put. No, I put my hand up.
You
I
did.
did.
Yeah. Go for
Um,
it. Go for it.
no,
Illuminate us.
it's amazing because you can really have locked in what you feel your purpose is, and I think part of your purpose is to find the path of your purpose, because you know that you're onto something. You know that this feels good when you're doing it, but living in purpose and doing purpose don't always, go hand in hand. And I think a lot of people talked about the resources to live in purpose. So it comes because sometimes purpose isn't an economical thing. It isn't something that pays the bills, right? And so how do you find that balance? And that's why, if you remember back when I talked about what I'm searching, is the balance. How do we find all those things that need to come together? And so for us, it's, and we're talking, specifically towards Hubcast and the vision that, and the mission that Delan and I've been on together for most of our lives together, 30 years in relationships and 25 years anniversary this week. So we're still working at it together, but there's always been a challenge of resources and we'll call it tangible abundance or fiat abundance, because there's so much work to do, but there's not always the resources to support that. So for us, it's about finding that path, finding ways, finding like-minded people. We created Hubcast to bring communities that are all in the same challenges. How an all small NGO, how a community like this, how to get this amazing work out to the masses so people can start thinking as one. So as I say, it's you can feel your purpose, you can live your purpose, but it's finding the path through to keep you doing that, because a lot of people kind of fall back because they run out of energy. So that's something I just wanted to share from my perspective, and thank you for allowing me to share.
Thank you, Peter. I applaud your authenticity. Indeed, isn't this? I mean, the reflections that you just shared. By the way, congratulations. You're just talking about, your anniversary. How special is that? To hear what you're sharing. So congratulations. And what you shared on purpose, it gets me to reflect very deeply myself. You know, uh, Very often in my life, I have, and this is something that I've actually made a mistake with a few times. I've actually ended up confusing my purpose very conveniently or perhaps inconveniently with just some sort of simple material pursuit or even worldly pursuits like fame popularity, etc. And for many people, it's about making their mark, accrual of money and material gains. Where I come from, in the mystical tradition I'm part of, we have a much more holistic understanding of purpose. And that's highly illuminating for most people when they start to understand more about our archetypal embodiment and expression in our life. And I particularly like this one remark I see in the chat box from Thomas, talking about in this lifetime is giving love. Um, that is so profound. That's so profound because love in itself is one of the most profound archetypes that we are born to explore, to express, and to embody in this life form. Yet, love is only one of 9 archetypes. Of course, the most popular, the most sought after, especially in this yuga, in this era. We look at Jesus Christ, for example. And most people that I know around me, they effortlessly associate Jesus with the archetypal exploration of love. And for those of us who might be interested, without really going into much into detail, the 9 archetypes that we are in our human form to explore, express, and embody are love, beauty, power, as in inner power, abundance, as in all those 10 areas of abundance that we've been working with over these 49 days journey. Then there's justice, as we know with Nelson Mandela and Martin Luther King, etc. Truth, goodness, and the last 2, wholeness, the pursuit of wholeness, and self as in self-realization. And Peter, what you talked about Hubcast and the level of sacrifices that you made to make something like Hubcast available for humanity. At least to the extent I've learned about Hubcast from Michael, I felt like, Hubcast is there to bring us back to our sense of community that is very often latent within many people. Connection. And that community and connection, incidentally, is also one of the 10 abundance areas that every human being is consciously or unconsciously in pursuit of. So you becoming engines or enablers of that connection and community for people to experience that connection and community. That's a very, very noble purpose. A purpose that's connected with the exploration, expression, and embodiment of abundance. Abundance as in community and connection. Those archetypal exploration relates to our purpose. And I read out once again the essence of what Thomas wrote in the chat box. In this lifetime is giving love is his purpose. Beautiful, like Jesus and many other people that I know. Yes, Peter?
Yeah, no, I was just saying is that the core essence I realized as a content creator and a producer and all that, some of the most powerful connections happen through co-creation. And really, just as we are co-creating this reality here with us together, the relationships are formed in what we create. So Hubcast has been designed for communities to co-create, for humanity to co-create, because when we start co-creating our reality, we become very possessive of it. We become very protective of it. And at the same time, the connection is much more at a cellular level rather than consuming something that someone else thing. And that's why for us, it's about building these facilities around the world so we can co-create at a global scale, not just in United States and Canada and our areas, but to co-create with the wisdom keepers, to co-create with everybody around us. So that's, for me, it's a huge undertaking, but it can be done, and it just takes radical collaboration, as Ingrid and I've heard many times with John Raymer. It's about bringing humanity together to just discover one another and co-create the future. So that's really what it is. And it needs a space to hold it, and that's why spaces like Hubcast need to exist.
Wow, wow, wow. I'm particularly inspired by one statement that you shared, Peter, towards the end. Co-create or collaborate with others. And this fits neatly into the sixth law. And Mary's comments in the chat box also is a beautiful segue into the sixth law. And it's not just about co-creating or collaborating with others. I very, very strongly believe it's also collaborating with the universe to make things happen, to manifest things. And Michael, if you would be kind enough to pull up the slide on the sixth law, which we have here on the screen. The universe brings to us all the resources we need in order to live our purpose. And if it is any consolation for you, Mary, I with a lot of warmth in my heart, I'm reading your statement about, the choices that you have to make and the appropriate time that you're perhaps waiting for that purpose to start blossoming in your life. I'm somebody, and my life has been an example of this experiment and success in understanding that the universe brings to us all the resources we need in order to live our purpose. And there's a caveat, and that's a caveat that I refuse to accept or believe or take action upon for a big part of my life. However, about 20 years ago, I shed all those reservations and I just simply took the plunge. Realizing from my masters, the caveat is that I have to take that first step. Of course, that brings up a whole set of new questions. Like, hey, wait a minute, what then is the purpose of my life, or at least this life form? And the 9 archetypes that I shared, that gives us a clue of what our purpose is. I know for myself, in my current life form, my purpose is very strongly wound into truth seeking. In the list, you will see truth as one of the archetypal explorations. That took me a number of years sitting with my masters and contemplation and self-reflection and all of that to come to the eventual realization that truth seeking is my purpose. Yet, knowing what my purpose is very, very different from starting to act on it. And, I have so much admiration for Delan and Peter, that you never held yourself back. You were tenacious. to simply take the plunge in the direction of your purpose. That makes both of you extremely unique, Delane and Peter. That you've chosen to take action in the direction of your purpose. And after decades of following what you felt is true to you, you have something admirable to contribute to humanity in the form of Hubcast. Most people I know around me, actually, even when they know what their purpose is, are somehow, due to circumstances, held back from taking a step in the direction of that purpose. And very often, like it happened with me for a significant part of my life, I was first waiting for things to all fall in place before I would take a step in the direction of my purpose. Like Dr. King said, take that one step forward. Just take that one step in the direction of your purpose, and the universe or the divine will follow. That's exactly what happened with me. Yes, I was postponing taking that step in the direction of my purpose, saying, you know what, wait a moment. The timing is not right, or my financial situation is not right, or my material safety net is not there, or my psychological safety is not established yet, or I do not have at this moment the right network, or marketing might, or resources, or contacts list, or good health, etc. I was essentially giving myself excuses simply because I was not willing to trust the universe to do its part of the magic. However, a time came in the late 2000s where, like you did, Delane and Peter, I just simply suspended all the doubt, all the paralysis from analysis, and the procrastination, all of that, and just simply, you know what? Okay, now is the time. I have to take the plunge. I have to trust the universe. And that's precisely what I did. And indeed, the sixth law proved to be true. With the universe starting to, through completely non-local channels, starting to express all the resources I need precisely at the given moments to help me progress on the path of my purpose. Fast forward today, I can say, I have no cell in my body that has any doubt that I have the agency to take that step in the direction of my purpose. And the universe, being so kind, so generous, will respond. So thank you. Delane, Peter, you're an inspirational example for not only me, but also everyone else in this community, right now on this 49 days journey of abundance creation. So, and you gave me the prompt to unpack the sixth law of abundance. Wow, how lovely is that? And there's a corresponding quantum law, a law that's based on quantum science that underpins the sixth law. And that is the universe has the potentiality of varied purposes to exist in its own infinite realm of possibilities. The universe has the potentiality of all our purposes to exist. In fact, even for each single human being who is in this course right now, who might have more than one archetypal exploration destined, the universe has the potentiality for all those archetypal explorations, embodiments to exist. That is a quantum law, that it's not one or the other, or one person or the other, that the whole purposive evolution of the universe is such that all our purposes are essential. In fact, it's even essential for us to make choices in the direction of purpose in order to take collective humanity forward. That is a quantum law. So again, opening up this space before we jump into the practicalities and Q&A, or rather we can just open up this space right now for Q&A. If there's anything else that's coming up for you, any observations or questions on the sixth law, please feel welcome to share that on the screen, in the chat box, or otherwise, if you want to unmute yourself and join me to explore anything that you want to further examine on the sixth law, please go ahead.
Maybe I would like to voice one major concern that people have. This law sounds enthusiastic and positive, but there are instances in life where people have to wait a long time for that moment to occur, which you just described in your own life. You were in the corporate world, and well, it took a while until you made that leap away from that. And I wonder, not so much for me, because somehow I found the clue how to solve that riddle. But what can we do to help others to deal with that impatience? So they know somewhere there is their purpose. They know in some manner the universe will react. But what do I do when it takes years or even decades to come true? Do I meddle around in minor things? Do I become bored? Do I even resort to drugs, what people do? Yeah. So I would find it a great thing if we could give others that sense of, well, the purpose is going to be fulfilled. The universe just has your life. Focus on that very moment. But what happens in the time when you need to wait for that? How do people avoid getting distracted or, well, become apostates, like going away from their beliefs? That happens all the time. And I wonder myself, well, people should know about that, but people lose their trust, they lose their faith. And how can we invigorate that again?
Wow. Great reflection. Great reflection, Thomas, you're sharing. You know, I'm reminded, Thomas, in what you shared. Very, very powerful what you're sharing with me right now. You know, I'm trying to simplify this just to accelerate our reflection process for all of us in this journey. That is the simple recognition. And I'm simplifying this just to support our reflection process. In the spectrum of consciousness, and I don't want to unpack it at a very sophisticated level, in the spectrum of consciousness, each one of us, human beings, in our manifested form, we are swinging between two extremes. The extreme of self-preservation and the extreme of self-realization. The realm of self-preservation is very often, for most of us, motivated by the emotion of fear. Whereas on the other end of that consciousness spectrum, the realm of self-realization is promoted, is boosted by love. And for me, the constant reminder in what you shared, Thomas, is to what extent can I subordinate my fear to my love? And I notice this, not just in my own life, but also in the lives of those I hold space for. That all those people that I know who've taken a leap in the direction of their purpose, like Delane and Peter as an example, are people who have subordinated fear to love. Love, of course, is that engine, that force that drives us in the direction of our purpose. It's like, in my case, waking up every morning and making a conscious choice to move only in the direction of my heart. The alternative could be I could sit back and create all kinds of fear-based scenario, self-doubt. How am I going to survive today? Or how am I going to bring food on the table? Or how am I going to pay my bills? I can make up all kinds of stories based on fear in order to distract myself from living my purpose. So it's an interesting force field within us, between the ego and the soul, that we are actually, most of us people are waging a battle, hoping that one day we can subordinate fear to love, like already Delane and Peter have done for decades. So thank you. Thank you, Thomas, for that reminder. Very, very apt reminder for all of us. And I see, Delane, Peter, you got your hand up. So if you wish to unmute yourself, go for it.
I just wanted to add something to what Thomas has said. As we go through our process, when we come to those points of fear, confusion, it comes back to, and I use this a lot, I call it trusting the process. A person shared with me one day is that we're all going into the direction of our purpose, whether we like it or not. But we have a choice. We can take the interstate, the real quick route, right? Or you can take the highway route, the very scenic route. And the scenic route has a lot of winds and curves, and it's quite slow, and you stop for a while. It's really pretty. But we're going to the same location. If you trust, sometimes you got to drive on the interstate and go fast. Sometimes you got to pull off, look around, share the experience, because it is a journey. It's a journey that we are so hurried, we're so rushed to get to where we want to get to. We don't realize that the journey is part of that process. So, and I think we should trust that these challenges are put there for you to work on the journey to get you to where you are the next step. Does that make sense? I'm kind of talking.
And I just wanted
Yes.
to acknowledge that you reminding us all to follow our hearts, because that really is the guiding force, and it's so simple yet so profound. So I just wanted to acknowledge and thank you for that.
And that's the trigger to it, because sometimes you can get somewhere really quickly and not follow your heart. You butt in line, you go this, you take this down to go over there. You can get there really fast, but is it truly the path for you? Because there's a lot of lessons you miss getting to that point. So trust the process of lessons, trust the processes of the universe has your back. And I can absolutely tell you that the universe will give you exactly what you need when you need it, and not to fear the fact that tomorrow you have to pay this or there will, if you're truly living in connection with the universe, it will always be there for you.
Wow.
So I just wanted to share that.
Wow. Wow. And thank you for that bit of motivation. And Delane, also thank you for your word. You are an example of taking a stand for the heart. Clearly. Very inspirational. Thank you. Thank you both. And before we close, I see here a comment in the chat box from Mark. How does karma affect our journey of abundance? It does. It does. From a very scientific perspective, we can speak about it. And I do not want to go deep into that and try to unpack it in a very advanced way, trying to keep it simple. We know if you look at our past experiences shape the way we show up today. This is common sense. You know, simple. If I'm somebody who has had a very traumatizing marital relationship in the past, if I've had something like that in the past, it's likely that today or in the future, when I feel, yes, I want to get into another relationship, all my past experiences might block me from opening up to intimacy or showing up with authenticity or expressing vulnerability, because those past traumas will block me from doing so. So that is the kind of impact our past experiences or karma can have on how we show up today. And to Mark's question, clearly, having spent these many days, that's more than 5 weeks now, in this deep self-inquiry of abundance, it's clear to us, all of us, that abundance creation clearly is an inside-out process. One where, when we start at the being level, starting to get anchored in abundance, then at the doing level, at the physical level, at the manifestation level, abundance responds. It's inside out, starting from the inside. So if I am somebody who has come through a journey where I'm tenacious, I'm daring, my experiences gives me the sense of risk-taking, then I will show up in life with a possibilities mindset, a sense of wholeness, not one of lack. And when I show up to life from that place of inner abundance, positivity, optimism, a sense of opportunity, then that starts also multiplying in the world around us. So yes, karma has a very, very strong bearing on how within we become abundant or in scarcity. Lovely reflection that you shared. Thank you for that, Mark. And I see a hand up from Ingrid. So if there is something briefly that you would share, then please go.
Thank you. It's more of a question. I really appreciate your continuum of self-preservation and self-realization. There's like the idea of living from your karma or your past experiences is more like an instinctual mode of some sort of like, I'm doing it because blah, 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 right? And so deliberately choosing, like I really like how you said it, say is about do not hold yourself back from living your dharma. Like, so the difference between karma and dharma of recognizing that dharma of the current journey, the co-creation with the universe, this life path that you're experiencing in current time as your dharma versus your karma, something that you brought in beforehand some way. My question is that when you're talking about simply choosing your deepest passion, owning it, and all the resources you need for yourself, I feel like I've gotten to the point. So I recently married back in August. Well, we became handfasted. We haven't. We're taking steps. We haven't done the whole legal thing of co-creation yet on paper, but we did a hand fasting and a spiritual ceremony. But we are now in that place of coming together. And it's really interesting because when I feel into the way that he operates with abundance, is that his past experiences, his like he had been married in the past and really struggled to provide for his family, and really like he has to like put all the pieces together and move things around and not pay this bill until later, and then we'll pay it the next month or whatever. Like it's a very constrictive feeling. And my experience with if I'm not meeting, if I don't have enough money, is like to widen way the heck back and be like, okay, I have no idea where this is going to come from, but I trust it's going to show up so I can do what I need to do for this next step. So his way of going, oh gosh, I don't have enough money, is to go, huh. And my way of doing it is to go,
Wow.
now we're talking about this co-creation journey of how do we co-create the abundance that is needed to show up into living. And we don't even know what our purpose is, like what brought us together, what abundance is needing to flow through the co-collaboration of the divine feminine, divine masculine that we're showing up as individually, collectively, all of that stuff for this, like how Peter like, you guys just I love you. It's Summer and John are the same way. I see it in couples around me more and more, and it's like, okay, I have a feel for it because I see what they're doing. I can feel them, and I go, this is a aspect of abundance that I don't know how to articulate and how to get a beat on. So I would love any insight that you have on how this applies to co-creation.
Wow. You know, what you shared, actually you shared the answer to your own question. The way you show up, that is precisely the secret to abundance creation. You elegantly spoke about how you show up to life with a wide open heart. And I do remember in the second week, so if you have access to the recording, Ingrid, then the master class for the second law, the law of echo, if you would listen to that recording, you will see I took the participants through a little exercise around the second law, where I tried to clarify to the participants that when we start living the experience of abundance within, then that starts echoing into our worldly reality. And so you gave the answer to your own question, Ingrid, with your statement about how you show up in life. And that would be my prayer to everyone here. May we all show up as that example that, Ingrid, you are living. Just confronting all of life with a wide open heart. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for such an amazing evening of reflection, evening here. It might be morning for you. So how powerful was that? As we close for today, I want to thank you all for making this an enriching time for me and a little bit of a checkout. So if you want to take a moment to connect with your body and sense what you're feeling, especially with respect to the last 90 minutes, please do so. And source one word from within, something that you're feeling, your inner state at this moment. And don't hesitate to share that word in the check-in box, as a checkout, the chat box as a checkout. Wow. Invigorated, full, clarity of purpose. And for me too, inspiration. I want to check out with that. On path. Wow. Lovely. Thank you, everyone, with all these words for creating, holding space. And until next week, goodbye.